Welcome back. The government says it is on maximum alert. Notifications have been put out at various airports. A 24-hour helpline is supposed to be operational. Screening is said to be performed at all Indian airports. That's what we're being told, that India is geared up to deal with the Ebola threat. But is that true? Headlines Today sent out its correspondent Pankaj Upadhyay to airports and to some of our leading hospitals to see whether or not India is battle ready. Here's what we found out.
Four African nations in a vice-like grip of the deadly Ebola virus already declared a public health emergency worldwide by the World Health Organization. India followed suit, issuing a national alert for Ebola, the government announcing a helpline number and stepping up surveillance at airports.
We have had meetings with all the relevant, players in this, whether it is the Aviation Ministry or whether it is the Defence Forces or whether it is the External Affairs Ministry, etc. And the idea is that you have to make sure that you are taking all possible precautions well in advance.
But when we tried to find out the ground reality about government's preparation, we were in for a shock. The sting operation reveals that those entrusted with fighting the battle against the deadly virus are completely clueless. Our first stop, the Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital, which is the designated centre for Ebola in Delhi. And this is what we found. Clueless doctors, ignorant medical staff, and even the CMO caught napping. A shocking state of affairs indeed. Our next stop, the Delhi airport. Despite alerts issued by the government at the airport, there are no notices to alert passengers about the threat. Neither are the in-flight announcements or screenings in place.
Yes, was an announcement made inside the airport about Ebola virus? You must be aware about Ebola virus, right? Yeah. Because was there a team of doctors inside the aircraft? Did anyone tell you if at all there are certain symptoms to inform anybody?
I don't think so. I don't know.
None of it. No announcement, no signboard, no doctors around.
We then moved to India's most advanced hospital for tertiary care, the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. The picture here is no different, with the medical staff totally ignorant about the Ebola threat or the government's step to counter it. The complete ignorance about the deadly threat among those put in charge of combating it is worrying, to say the least. Yes, there are those who keep offering lame excuses.
It has to be checked at the time when the person is boarding the plane, because if he is in the plane, he will infect others. So that's the most important thing, then checking it at the Indian airports. So it's an international scenario where transmission of a virus from one country to another country has to be checked.
Ebola is fatal in 90% of cases and is highly contagious. While the government may have made a prompt beginning to combat the threat, it's clear that those responsible for implementing its orders are yet to wake up. With Pankaj Upadhyay and Arvind Ojha in Delhi, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
I want to go across at this time to Director General Health Services, Jagdish Prasad. Mr. Prasad, we've seen through a Headlines Today investigation that all your claims about India being Ebola ready are really going up in smoke. When we go to AIMS, when we go to Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital, we find that no matter what the seniors might be saying, on the ground where a patient comes in, people seem to have no clue about all that you'd like them to do, sir.
I don't know to whom you have asked, because see, for your information, I will tell you that already one patient suspected the Ebola virus has been admitted in the RML hospital, and doctor who was treating are well aware of, otherwise he can't admit the patient. So I don't know whom you have taken the interview. I can't take the guarantee of all the doctor at the moment getting the aware of the Ebola virus. The person who are concerned at the moment with taking the health care, whether it is a nurse, technician or doctor, are well aware of the Ebola virus, because today morning only Mahendra Singh has been shifted from the airport to the RML hospitals. And we are well aware, and we have today evening also we have called the meeting of all the three medical superintendent, RML, Sabdarjung and LHMC, and we have told that doctors concerned should be sensitized with this process, how to take care and how to save themselves, because basically the healthcare.
So, but when we went to take, for example, the airport, so when we went to the airport, we asked passengers coming out if there were any special announcements, any special screening, whether people at the immigration counters made them aware of the risks of Ebola. None of that had taken place. So, at the airport, passengers are saying that your tests are not happening. And secondly, when we go to a hospital, now you're saying that the seniors are all aware, but the people on the ground don't seem to know very much. How are you going to now increase the level of awareness in the light of this Headlines Today ground report, sir?
See, we are not going to teach all the junior level doctors, okay, but we are going to sensitize the whole emergency people. If they get the such patients, how they can keep them in isolation room and how they can take care of them. So we are not going to sensitize the gynae people at the moment. We are not going to sensitize the other people who are not concerned, but definitely we are going to sensitize the people who will come in contact with them. And that is, I told you, today we have given the instruction to all the medical superintendent that the doctors dealing with in the emergency has to be sensitive about the Ebola virus.
Okay.
They should conduct a workshop or they should conduct a meeting and tell them about this, that how they can take care of them.
Okay, I'm going to leave it over there, Dr. Prasad. Thank you very much for joining us with your thoughts on this broadcast. Clearly, while some steps have been taken, a lot more needs to be done. The level of awareness needs to percolate all the way down to the officials who actually meet patients when they walk into a hospital. Let's shift our attention to the other big story that we are tracking at this time. This is about Kavita. She is the daughter of K. Chandrasekhar Rao, the Chief Minister of Telangana, and she now has been booked for sedition for suggesting that Kashmir and Hyderabad were forcibly annexed and merged with the Indian state at the time of independence. An FIR has been lodged against her. Charges are non-bailable. In the past, high-profile individuals like Arundhati Roy have seen the rough side of the sedition law in the past. There's a possibility that the new MP from Telangana could well be arrested.
Serious trouble for Kalvakuntla Kavita. New Lok Sabha MP and daughter of the Chief Minister of India's newest state, 21 days after her comments in a newspaper sparked an angry fire, the eloquent young face of the Telangana movement now faces extreme charges. The Madanapet police station in Hyderabad has registered an FIR against Kavita for sedition, imputations and assertions prejudicial to national integration, and statements that contribute to public inconvenience. On the 20th of July, in an interaction with a national newspaper, the Lok Sabha MP from Nizamabad had said that both Hyderabad and Kashmir were forcibly merged into the Indian Union post-1947, inviting a petition from a local BJP leader who said this statement was a threat to national integrity and hurt his feelings.
I've been grossly misunderstood. I've said and I've clarified myself because if somebody still wants to go ahead and do it, file a case and get popular, let them do it.
Today the atmosphere is such that they will create suffocation in this country. This is absolutely wrong. Kavita expressed an idea. Somebody more knowledgeable, others must join and talk to Kavita. And then maybe she corrects her way of thinking about this issue.
I can only ask her, please don't make us refugees in the same manner.
The immediate question is if and when the Hyderabad police, which reports to Kavita's father, the Chief Minister of Telangana, K. Chandrasekhar Rao, will arrest the MP from Nizamabad. And if that happens, what will be the repercussions for India's younger state? In Hyderabad, T.S. Sudhir for Headlines Today.
The RSS and the BJP appear to be at loggerheads. At the BJP's National Council meeting, Prime Minister Narendra Modi heaped lavish praise on new President Amit Shah, calling him the man of the match of the 2014 victory. But speaking the very next day, RSS Sarsanghchalak Mohan Bhagwat said that some people are crediting individuals, some people are crediting parties, but these people and these parties have been around for very long. The credit for the victory of 2014 does not go to an individual, does not go to a party, it goes to the people of India. Is this an attempt by the Sangh top boss to rein in the individual aspirations of Prime Minister Modi and BJP's President Amit Shah? Take a look at this report.
A thumping victory like nothing the BJP had ever seen. Almost 3 months on, the BJP and its ideological big brother debate who deserves credit for it. For Modi, it's Amit Shah who won it for the party. For the RSS, it's the victory of the people.
अमित भाई राष्ट्रीय टीम में ना आए होते, उत्तर प्रदेश का उनको प्रभार न मिला होता, तो शायद देश उनकी शक्तियों से परिचित नहीं हुआ होता।
किसने लाया है? लोगों ने लाया अपनी इच्छा से। लोग नहीं चाहते तो वही लोग, वही पार्टियां आगे नहीं आ सकती। लोग उसका श्रेय किसी किसी को देते हैं, व्यक्ति को देते हैं, दल को देते हैं, संगठनों को देते हैं, लेकिन वास्तविक श्रेय के अधिकारी कौन है? अपने समाज के सब सामान्य लोग।
As the RSS spoke, the BJP ducked for cover. Senior leaders ducked questions, refusing to utter even a single word, and those who spoke were no less evasive.
Next. ये जो चुनाव परिणाम है, ये निश्चित रूप से नरेंद्र मोदी की लोकप्रियता, राजनाथ सिंह, अमित शाह जी की जोड़ी और देश की जनता का अपार जन समर्थन, ये सबका मिला-जुला परिणाम है।
So, जो मोहन भागवत बोल रहे हैं वो क्या अलग है, गलत?
मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ अपनी बात बोल रहा हूँ।
With the BJP struggling for answers, the opposition rubbed its hands in glee. The party might deny it, but its history in all its avatars is replete with instances of the RSS stepping in and playing Big Brother. From Balraj Madhok to Atal, Advani and Modi, its tallest have always been kept on a saffron leash. But is this a bid to puncture the Modi wave, as some argue? Throughout the election campaign, the RSS supplied volunteers to the BJP. The hurly-burly done, now a debate about the big brother's sway within the Modi Sarkar. Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
What we want to do now is step away from politics for a moment and play out excerpts of an interview I recorded with India's Commonwealth champions. Here's PV Sindhu, Jwala Gutta and Deepika Pallikal, India's smashing girls, in conversation at the India Today Women's Summit. Racket sports in India have never got the sort of prominence ever as they're doing now, whether it is squash, badminton or tennis. India's smashing ladies are putting racket sports on the global map and making people in India more interested than ever before. Joining us now, Jwala Gutta, PV Sindhu and Deepika Pallikal. Thank you all very much for joining us, and congratulations on your superb performance in the Commonwealth Games. Let's just take it one by one, and I start with Deepika because squash has been the younger, ignored cousin of badminton and then before that tennis. How has this victory been for you, and what do you think this does for Indian squash?
I think, it's been huge for us. I mean, people have actually started to recognize myself and Joshna. I mean, as you were saying that people are actually buzzing to play squash in clubs. We've always had courts very empty in every club. It's been great, but I think, as I said, it's now or never for squash. We've got to start promoting the sport. We've got to start making champions, and I think this is the right time. I mean, we've won a medal for the country, and I think it proves that there is talent in this country, and I really hope that the people who are in charge of it really takes a step forward.
Because we've seen over the last few years, badminton and also tennis really mushroom. Lots of academies, lots of interest. Thanks to what? Jwala, Sindhu, Saina, Shah, all of them have done, Sania. But with squash it hasn't been like that. What do you think needs to be done immediately to ensure that squash too gets the sort of recognition that badminton and tennis does?
See, I think the main reason why I'm going to talk about badminton is because of Saina, Jwala and Sindhu. I think after they did really well in Delhi, suddenly the game shot up, people started recognizing it, endorsements started coming in. And I've always said that once we win that gold, or once we win that Commonwealth Games and Asian Games, it will change the sport. And I really hope, I really hope that there are more tournaments in the country. There's more funds coming in. We have ample support from the government. And once we get tournaments in the country, just like the Commonwealth Games, which opened up sport to the people, I think it will change the face of sport in India.
Do you see that change percolate already, Jwala? Because you've seen the good days of Indian sport, you've seen the bad days, you've seen when there's been interest, you've seen when, despite achievements, there's been lack of interest. Do you see, by and large, non-cricket sports get more recognition than ever before?
The interest has grown, definitely, I'll not deny. That is one of the reasons why we had IBL also last year, and it was a very big hit. Interest is also changing because I think there are a lot of sources of news now, because we have a lot of, the media has grown really strong amongst people, because a lot of people maybe don't have time to read paper and they can just switch on TV and they know what's happening around the world in our country. So I think things have changed a lot for sports. I think we were lucky that Delhi Commonwealth Games, Commonwealth Games happened in India, and I think that also changed a lot for Indian sports.
Do you think that the amount of attention that cricketers get is now coming down in comparison with earlier? Do you think you're getting a fair share of attention, or do you still feel that they hog on the limelight?
It's that the other like squash and badminton are doing well. It's not like cricket is not doing well, but we are doing much more better than.
See, I don't think cricket is the attention. The thing is coming down. I think our sports are going higher because we're winning medals for the country. Cricket is always going to be, the most elite sport in the country.
My father loves cricket.
Yeah.
You said at the Women's Summit session that you hated cricketers.
I hated cricketers until I met
You still do?
Until I met Dinesh.
So now you just change your equation with Dinesh or with all his mates as well?
I don't think she means that she hates cricketers.
It was just like, we were, frustrated and things, because you feel hurt. Yes. We also used to perform the same way, but we never used to get the attention or anything.
Yeah, because when your performance is not acknowledged, forget about getting sponsors and endorsement, that is all secondary, I think. It's just, when somebody acknowledges, I'm sure that if somebody comes and says, Rahul, you have done an absolutely fantastic job, they don't have to pay you, but they just have to acknowledge your work. That gives you a greater sense of satisfaction than anything else. Even money will not matter then.
Yeah.
So if that happens to us, then that's what we live for, or that's why we play for the country. It's like when we win a medal, a little acknowledgement, Jwala, you've done a great job. That's about it.
How does somebody who grew up hating cricketers, metaphorically speaking of course, end up getting hitched to a cricketer?
Tough question. No, I think obviously I hated cricket is a bit strong, but I think when it comes to sport in general, I mean, you obviously got to know, I got to know Dinesh. Dinesh is a genuinely very nice guy. Off the field, obviously everything is very, very different. It was just frustrating for us to have kept performing, kept winning medals for the country, never getting that acknowledgement, as Jwala said. it's very disheartening because when you come back, you know, your family, everyone's so proud, and then you just don't get any acknowledgement. And then you've got to keep proving yourself and keep proving yourself, and then, you know, at one point you just say, you know, how much can I do? So it's a bit frustrating, but I think, as you know, all our sports are growing. You know, we just have to keep winning medals.
So you've got Dinesh started in squash?
I have, but I think he
under 5, love.
Cricket's easier for him, so he's going to stick to cricket.